Today we planned on a late start, thinking that we'll stay out like all day and then go out at night time rather than go out and then come back to the hotel, get changed, whatever, and then have to go out again. So we thought we'd get the hop on hop off around the Uptown Loop, which it turns out is actually just a loop of Central Park. I say just, but Central Park is massive and traffic moves slowly, so it's quite involved. And then we thought we might go to the Guggenheim or another museum there, but not the Met, because we knew that the Met's closed on Wednesday anyway. Start doing the lap, think actually kind of running out of time. We don't know how many more buses are going to come after this one, so if we go to the Guggenheim, we're going to pay and we're going to have to rush around, and then it'll be a waste of time. So we go to this other museum that we can get into for free. So we get off at the stop, cross the road, then see that the gate is closed. The museum's closed. It's closed on Tuesdays and Wednesdays, which we didn't know when we got off the bus, obviously. And the bus driver didn't know when we got off the bus either, because then luckily there was still all this banked up traffic, so we were able to run back across the road, weave through traffic, which is quite nerve-wracking, and then get back on the bus, even though the bus had moved away from the bus stop, and say, oh yeah, the museum's closed today. And she said, yeah, there's a sign. I was like, yeah, but the sign is behind the fence. You can't see it until you get up there and see that it's closed. Anyway, so we were like, you know what, let's just go back to the city. So we ended up going to a deli because it was cold, and we thought it'd just warm up a bit. So we got Mum got a New York cheesecake and I got a bagel, just a sesame seed bagel with cream cheese. But bagel was on my list of New York foods to eat. So far I've had the pizza. Oh, actually everything now. Because it was pizza, bagel and a hot dog, and I've had all three. They're on my list. I know, what a mature palate I have. I don't care. I love hot dogs. Yeah, and so anyway, we did that, and then we did some shopping and visited the M&M shop. And then visited the Hershey shop. And now I'm at Hershey's buying something for Boo, because she's all, oh, I love Hershey's, it's the best. Visited the Swarovski shop because Mum thought she might, see if they had like an apple or something New York specific, maybe whatever, like a brooch or some earrings, something they do not. Went to Times Square. Just the obligatory stop in Times Square. I mean, really, it's just advertising, right? You know how it's like, oh yeah, it's just advertising. Anyway, here it is. Well, some of it. This isn't the whole thing. Then went to Olive Garden for a quick dinner. We're having dinner at Olive Garden tonight because it's just around the corner from the theatre where we're going to see Hamilton. And we picked here because firstly it was very cold outside and here was close and warm, and secondly we thought it would be a pretty quick service in terms of turnaround, and it is. We sat down at about 5:45 and we already have had our soup and had our main served, and it's barely gone 6. And then we went to Hamilton, which was very exciting. So we were sat right up the top, and I thought we were in the very back row, but there was 4 people who were behind us on the wings in the next row back. So not in our row, we were the last ones in our row, but if you went across the 3 sections, there was 2 people, so 2 lots of seats, so technically we weren't in the last row. But we're at the top again, but this time we're seeing Hamilton. But it's still great because look, we have an unobstructed view. We have no one sitting next to us, which is great. There's more leg room here than at the basketball, which is surprising because this is an older theatre. And also tall people like basketball. Not us, we're not tall, but other tall people. I say other as if I am also tall. Actual tall people. Anyway, Hamilton. have to get like scenic shots now because obviously I'm not going to film when the show is on. Anyway, because we were in that central row, we didn't have an obstructive view, and it was really like it was really great. And I was a bit nervous because I listened to that original cast soundtrack so much. I listened to it so much. It featured quite prominently in my Spotify in 2020, I think, and Lin-Manuel Miranda was like my #1 artist, and I think show tunes was my #1 genre. That's how much I listened to it. And I was a bit worried about hearing other people do it, but very specifically about other people doing Burr, because he's my favourite character in the show. I feel like he drives the story really, and so I was a bit worried about it, because not that you think the person will be bad, but just because you have an expectation yourself about what it will be like. Anyway, did not need to worry. It was amazing, and visually it's quite spectacular. The costuming is really beautiful, and obviously the orchestra is top notch, and yeah, just everything about it was just a really great night, and they got a standing ovation, and I just wonder if they get one all the time, because it's such a huge show, because New York is such a melting pot of like just people here all the time from, you know, out of town, and obviously New Yorkers and people close to here. But yeah, so whether it's just always new people seeing the show and having that experience, and they probably get a standing ovation every night, I reckon. Do you reckon they would?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so it was a very nice evening, and guess what else? Got another cup, everyone. That's right. I wasn't planning on buying anything there. That's a true story. I really wasn't. And when you buy just a regular drink, all drinks come in a collectible keeper cup. So I did get a drink, and then I said to Mum when I came back with it, I was like, oh, I got you one too, because I thought you might be thirsty, and this is all drinks come in this. And she went, oh wow, more plastic. And I went, hey, you don't have to have it, I'll have two. But suddenly then she wanted to keep it. Yeah. Oh, wait a minute, I did buy one more thing today. Oh, shit. Yeah, that's that caravan table moving. A cap, a Yankees cap, of course, also a new era one, but also fitted, not flexi fit, but they did do a thing. So we just went to this Yankees shop in Times Square and got a hat, of course, and look though, they got it personalised in gold. I got it. I got a monogram on there. That's right. The famous player, me, from the Yankees. And I got it in gold because that's a little bit more obnoxious. But these are my vanity plates. I'll never put something like this on my car, but I'll put it on my own head. Anyway, don't worry, I will wear it with the stickers taken off, but I literally just took it out of the bag, so I haven't worn it at all yet. But Mum did laugh when I said I was going to get my initials put on it, because you put all different things on it. But then once she saw it, she was like, oh, I want one now too. But she doesn't wear baseball hats, so she didn't get one. Well, she doesn't wear caps, so she didn't get one anyway. Here it is. And I actually think it's a different size from the Boston one, which is weird, because when I said to the girl, who was helping the lady, that I'm 7 5/8 usually, sometimes not, but usually, and she said 7 1/2, and I was like, no, usually 5/8. Anyway, put the 5/8 on. It was too big. And anyway, so 7 3/4, and because I bend the peak a little bit, it's fine. Yeah, if I wasn't bending it, I probably would want a bigger hat. But anyway, I know that some people don't bend it, but I don't care. I'm not some people. I feel like it's more comfortable on your head. No, I like the look when it has a slight peak. I'm not talking a full crack. Anyway, that's a lot of cap talk for people who probably don't really care for cap talk. Anyway, so I also thought today was the 2nd of February, because I'm getting very confused about date reading now, because you know how Americans put the month before the date. Anyway, I don't know how I messed that up because it's still 2-1 either way. Idiot. Anyway, I thought we only had one more full day tomorrow and then we were leaving on the next day. I mean, we do leave quite late in the day, so we still have time to do stuff, but we still have 2 full days and then that third day. So, yeah, I don't know what we're going to do tomorrow. You'll find out, I guess. I'll find out too. So I did just check. This one is 7 5/8. So I know this one being the Boston one. So some of you might be thinking, wow, you got a big head. Oh, yeah, no fucking shit, of course I got a massive head. Today, we're kind of keeping it a bit local and a little bit cheap. Although, I say that, but I do plan on going to the comic book shop across the road. So let's see how cheap it is. I do want to go there because I just want to see what a comic book shop is like in America, how different it is from the ones that I've been to in Australia. And I think it's going to be that different, to be honest. I think very similar sort of people who run comic book clubs. So comic book clubs, comic book shops. So I assume it'll be pretty similar, but I don't know. We'll have a look. And then we're planning to go to the Chrysler foyer. You can't, or lobby. You can't go to the roof because it's not a public building, but you are allowed to go into the lobby and have a look around. And then we're going to go to Grand Central, probably get something to eat there because they've got like a market, Central Market, not our Central Market. And then look at the hall that they've got there, you know the one from the TV. And then go to the New York Public Library, which is all very close to where we are, so we can just hop from one to the other. Not a hop on, hop off, just hop on our own feet. And then tonight we are probably going to do the night tour that our hop on, hop off offers. This isn't a hop off. Jesus flip. This is not a hop on, hop off. It is a one-time loop, but at night time. So we'll get to see some of the same buildings we've seen during the day because it goes past the Flatiron building as well. But then instead of turning this way, it turns left and then goes through Little Italy and around there. I didn't film yesterday's summary, actually, I realised. So, yeah. Yesterday I said, I listed off these things we were going to do. I did not do. So, went to the market in Grand Central. It's actually just like a regular food market. I thought you might be able to eat stuff in there, but it's more like takeaway stuff. Which, by the way, today when we were leaving, because I thought I saw sushi in there yesterday, and I was like, maybe I'll get some sushi today. Anyway, they had KC Chiefs helmets, biscuits, and I was like, I should get one of these and and show you that biscuit. Anyway, it was $7.90 for one biscuit. Anyway, I can't tell you what it tastes like because there's no way I was paying that much money for a biscuit I'll take one bite of. Anyway, so we didn't have lunch there because downstairs was just like a food court. You had to stand up anyway at high tables. So it was like, nah, pass. Then went to the Chrysler building, went into the foyer. Oh, you're not allowed in the foyer. This guy was like, what are you doing in here? Well, he didn't say it exactly like that. Not too far from that though, to be honest. And whilst I 100% respect the fact that it is a private commercial area, right? If they don't want people in there, then people shouldn't be in there. That's fair enough. But it was a way that this guy talked anyway that really rubbed me the wrong way because he's like, it's been like that since COVID. It's like, well, obviously I haven't been here since COVID, mate. I don't know if you know this, but we couldn't really travel in COVID. Anyway, I got the shits then because I'd had enough and I just stomped off down the street and said, I hate this city, and stomped off down the street, which was a great attitude. Then we went and looked at Grand Central Station. You can see that here. I was still not in a good mood, and I took a photo of me and Mum in there, and I've got dead eyes. You're dead. So I went, you know what, you need to get it together. So I went for a walk down to the library by myself, because New York Public Library. This will cheer me up. It's a nice building. I'll get to see a reading room, and I'll be like, excellent. Anyway, you're not allowed in that reading room unless you're doing research. Which again is fair enough, because it is that, I mean, that's what it's designed for. It needs to be a space that people can actually work in. So I understand. Again, it's the same thing with the Chrysler. I understand it. It's just a bit disappointing for me personally, but I don't have that raging sense of entitlement that I'm like, I should be allowed everywhere I want to go. Anyway, the library was, I mean, it's a nice looking library anyway. They had a treasures display on. So I looked at some of the stuff they had in there, which included this stuff here. Yeah, so it was good. You know, I felt a bit better once I'd been in there and kind of looked around and, you know, laughed a bit because you can't go in one reading. You could go in another one. We decided we weren't going to go on the night bus ride because, I mean, we had it. To be honest, I was like, I can't be bothered going out again. I've had enough. I don't care anymore. And so then instead, I did go to the comic book shop. So this is the one thing that I had planned that actually worked. Oh no, I pulled the thing on it. So I went to this one, this Midtown Comics. That's where I went, just across the road, because, you know, I just wanted to see what it was like. And I got 2 comics to read on the plane on the way home, which is this Daredevil one, it's got Elektra in it, and this new, well not new, but this first volume of Star Wars Bounty Hunter. I think there's at least 3 out now, and I know this because the guy who served me in the comic book shop has a character in there based on him. So if I like this story, and I'm pretty sure I will, it's Bounty Hunters. Who doesn't love a bit of a scoundrel? I will probably get to see the character that he's based on. He's called, you know what? I can't remember. When I see it, I'll know. But he's got like blade hands. Anyway, so that bit turned out well. And I got these. I know this isn't going to take me the whole trip to read, but I've got Ring in my bag now because I'm putting Lord of the Rings in my suitcase because I know I'm 100% I'm not reading that on the plane. I haven't even opened that book one time. I've just carried that tome around for no real reason. So anyway, so it is Friday, and earlier in the week, I think I said that the one of the guys that we're speaking to in the street buying our hop on hop off was like, oh, it's going to be like really cold on Friday and Saturday. And I was like, oh yeah. Anyway, I didn't think today was Friday. I thought it was Thursday. And when we were leaving the hotel, I had my jacket in my bag with some gloves and some hand warmers and a scarf. And the guy downstairs was like, you might want to take a jacket. It's really cold today. And we're like, oh yeah, we've got them in our bag. Anyway, by the time we got off the subway and out into the cold, it was freezing cold. It was so cold. And then I figured out, I don't know, maybe half an hour later, yeah, it's Friday, the first day when it was going to be very cold. Today we're going on a Brooklyn tour on the hop on, hop off. You don't actually hop on or off this one, you just ride it around Brooklyn and do a kind of a tour like that. But we were listening to someone on the phone below, talking to someone telling them that it's 4 degrees, minus 4 degrees, feels like a -9. But I reckon you can't tell the difference at this point. It just feels like cold. But anyway, we're rugged up, so hopefully we'll be alright. Because we are very brave little soldiers, we're actually sitting in the open air part, even though there is an enclosed part. Sorry, that was accidental. But because we want a good view of the Brooklyn Bridge, because it turns out I'm a bit of a bridge nerd. Who knew? I think Pittsburgh really sealed the deal. I mean, I always liked him. Anyway, this isn't our bridge. We've only got 1 hour bridge. Like all good vain travellers, we look for signs of home. And there's one, Sydney. In between Liverpool and Paris. I can't really say Cherbourg properly. This is as close as we're going to get because commercial vehicles aren't allowed on the Brooklyn Bridge. Don't let the sunshine fool you. It's very, very cold. Mum has actually moved up into the undercover bit because it's that cold. And I can actually see my face is very red. But I have pulled my coat up full expedition style because it's cold. Woo. That's not makeup, that's nature. Anyway, that's worth it. We're not going to be on here all day, so what are you going to do? Anyway, I don't know if you can hear any of this or not. It's got an interesting history of laxatives, ex-labs. So, I actually got this out and then got very distracted to say that I'm reluctant to film anything because then I have to take my glove off so I can use my fingers, and very quickly can't feel my fingers. So, whew. But now we're coming to Barclays Centre. I actually wish we'd stayed in Brooklyn because I feel like this would have been more my vibe. Then we did a lap back. We finished that lap off, got back to where the start was, went to a little cafe there and had some soup because it was cold and soup is nice. Oh, I didn't have soup, Mum had soup. I had a chicken parmigiana melt, which I'll talk to you about here. I just had a chicken parm sandwich or chicken parm melt, which I have to remember here is not going to be like a schnitzel. It's going to be like shredded chicken with marinara in it. Anyway, and you got a pickle. And this is the pickliest pickle I've ever had in my life. And his faces are involuntary. Anyway, I'm getting heaps of these food reviews, I know, but Jesus Christ, man, that pickle, it's a pickly pickle. See, now that I know for sure I can do these, I'm like making sure I leave a gap to put in the things I know I filmed. Anyway, pickles, eh? After that, we got on the next hop off to take us to the ferry ride. So it was an adventure, even just getting there, because you have to walk down there. That bit's fine, except for the fact that it was bitingly cold and it felt like the wind was pushing you backwards. Anyway, so we get there and I say to Mum, oh God, I bet you like there's no terminal or anything. We're just standing. There's not going to be a toilet. We're just going to be standing on the side of the dock. 100% just standing on the side of the dock. It's the absolute bare bones operation. There was one chair, and then when there was one ferry coming in to disembark, we had to move out of that one chair so that people could disembark. So anyway, it was totally bare bones. We get on the top level of this ferry. I mean, anyway, it was gold, and Mum gets angry. I mean, she's already angry that we've had to stand outside in the cold for half an hour doing nothing, and then she gets so angry when we get in the stairs, and she's like, we can't stay up here, we'll freeze to death. So then we went downstairs. It was, like, I'm laughing now because it was an absolute. We had a hot dog for this reason. It had the word hot in it. It was that cold. Had a hot dog. Be frank, the hot dog, unintentional pun. It could have been way hotter. It was not even hot enough for the fucking hot dog. Anyway, that's beside the point. We went on this ferry to see the Statue of Liberty, which we've only seen in a very distant silhouette so far on this trip. And this was our opportunity to see it up front. Anyway, even downstairs, it's still cold because there's these open air stairwells coming down there. There's absolutely zero heating. And you're out on the ocean, right? Well, the ocean, yeah. Actually, no, yeah, it is like an ocean because it's straight, not a river. Hudson is not a river at all. It's a straight. I learned that today, everyone. Yeah. Anyway, so we end up moving to a spot in the ferry where you can't even see anything. And we don't even care because it's one of the warmest spots. And warm is relative at this point. Just cracking these hand warmers because we are on the ferry. Look. Oh, actually, it's not as bad through the camera as I thought it would be because the windows are, they've got heaps of like salty water on them. Anyway, we are inside, but it's still very cold, so hopefully these will help. Anyway, Mum is laughing too because it was a fucking disaster when we went upstairs because we were like, oh, we're approaching the statue now, like we want to go and see it up at the top. It was so cold. I filmed something and I think I'm talking, can't hear it at all because the wind's so heavy. Anyway, and that was our experience visiting the Statue of Liberty. I just froze my tits off outside trying to get a photo of the statue. She's right there. Anyway, look, my face is still red and we've only been downstairs for about 5 minutes. Mum was shaking so much and she was like, and I was like, we have to go back inside. She's like, I'm fine. Right, I need to get a photo of the statue, right? And I could see everybody else's photos through their cameras, right? I mean, through their phones. Everybody's taking the same shit photo. Well, similar to this, right? Similar to this quality, except you're out in the open air, right? So you don't have this grime, but it's still like, it's not super high quality. Anyway, and she's like, oh, I got it. I was saying, and I just yelled at her and I was like, you're gonna fall over, your knees are done. Get back inside, just take a stupid photo and we'll buy a postcard. And then we did, and now we're inside. And when I just got back from the toilet, and I was like, oh look, there she is. Check the temperature and an update, guys. It doesn't feel like -9. It had gotten to -9 and it feels like -16. What even is that? Today was our final day in New York and we went to the Met. And we're at the Met in the eatery. Don't worry, it's not another food review. I've realised I'm just not very good at them. I just tell you it tastes like a food and then say yes or no. That's not helpful. Anyway, we did not want to leave the room today, not after yesterday, because it was so cold. And then this morning it was going to be -13. So we're like, we don't want to leave, but we had to because we have to check out today. And then we've got about 5 hours between the last checkout time and when we should be at the airport. So welcome to the Met. I'm not giving a review, but I will say this. It's very expensive to eat here, or dirt, but also there's no value because you have to use this single-use plastic cup and it's not refillable. So, you know, if you go to a sports arena, things are refillable. And it was very nice. Like, it's massive, it's huge. We probably did a very small amount. We just figured out a couple of key things we really wanted to have a look at. Perseus with Medusa head, dog. the Fabergé collection, the Van Gogh, and of course Mum wanted to see some Renoir, who doesn't, and we're always on the lookout for some Monet and Manet. I don't know, there's nothing I like more than seeing a rape victim punished for getting raped. Well done, God. These big light-filled galleries are always my favourite. But they're always the least busy, and I don't understand why. I mean, it looks busy now, but it's way busier in other spots. Here's everyone, look what I found. That's right. We can come up and get a nice photo with it without getting frostbite or blown overboard. So, woohoo! I just said that this looks like Battle Cat from He-Man, and we do agree, but then Mum said it's actually a lizard. And it might be a lizard, but it also looks like Battle Cat. Now, we weren't there for very long. There's heaps of things you can see there, heaps of collections on. We just weren't there for very long. And then we raced back to the hotel and then got to the airport, and really that was my anxiety all day, making sure we got to the airport on time, because it's very stressful, as you know. Anyway, we're here and we'll be boarding soon. So yeah, I guess that was everything. I'll probably cut it all in at some point. Anyway, see you soon. Love you, miss you, bye.